Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Pardon the Noobs. I'm JGotti, and the man next to me is the Optimus Magnum. Hope you guys had a fantastic week this week, and appreciate you turning in for the live show today. We're going to have some news we probably should have covered last week. I'm just going to go ahead and say that was my fault. The wife and I went out. We got some really bad food, and it was bad. Don't wish it upon anybody, but appreciate your patience as we get rolling this week with episode 9. If you're watching this later in the week on the YouTube channel or download it as a podcast, we appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for the content. If you want to catch any part of this later, obviously YouTube's the place to be where you can catch that video and audio. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe for the Good Game Report channel where you can find it. Tony, what's going on, man? How is this week for you, sir?
I had a great 2 weeks off. Last week was unexpected, but it was fun. It's good with the kids. But the week before, the reason why we weren't on was because I was on vacation. I spent a great time in Boston and with my family. We had a great time. It was awesome. The kids absolutely enjoyed Boston. It's my favorite city that I personally ever lived in my life. And I begged my wife on the trip to still move back. But since I've been back, I've been game hunting like crazy, and I found some great deals. Check my Instagram, and you'll see all those great deals and stuff like that I pick up. But I've been having a blast.
Very nice. Very nice. Work's just been busy for me. I've been really enjoying my Assassin's Creed Valhalla play this week, and really getting a Cold War, man. The multiplayer the other night, man, it ripped. It's feeling good. That gun we covered a couple weeks ago, there's a little extra gun they put in there with season 4 or whatnot. It's a nail gun.
Yeah, I saw that.
Nail gun,
I saw somebody playing with it, and I was like, "Is that a nail gun?"
Yeah, I played with it
crazy.
as a secondary the other night, and it was a lot of fun because it operates a lot like an SMG, and it's something different about hearing the nails going to somebody's flesh instead of a bullet. It was kind of weird, but just keep working on the YouTube shorts and stuff too. Had one blow up last night, thank goodness, because I was lazy this week. I'm just going to be honest. I made 3 shorts this week, and that was it. It's not writer's block or anything. It's just, work's been a lot, and then life's a lot in the summertime. You got a lot of things going on. So
yeah,
happy to be back here doing the Part of the Noob show today and doing episode 9, getting back in the groove of things. So gonna get some GGR updates at this time, kind of let you know where GGR stands and what's going on there. If you didn't notice in the Discord last week, OG Meat is our new gamer showcase. She took the reins and is now the wearer of the crown as of last Saturday. Make sure you stop into that portion of the Discord, her channel, to say what's up to her, interact, that kind of good stuff. Really, really fun gal to talk with. She's very interactive with her chat, and recommend you stopping by. If you haven't met Meat, get in there and meet Meat. Pretty cool. Optimus, you know anything about Geek Corner coming up on Monday?
Yeah, every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our beloved Peter Bite and Matt's Geek Corner do the retro stream, the Geek Corner stream. And last week was a bit of a twist. They went together to play Super Mario World, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, stay tuned. Guys, you need to be there because you know me. I'm the ultimate 80s and 90s nostalgic guy. I love the 90s. And this week, it's going to be the Yippee-Ki-Yay mother stream. They're playing Die Hard, baby. It's going to be a fun stream, guys. Watch it. Stay tuned. Make sure you get to it. It's going to be a good stream. I love that game. I think it's on PS1, I believe.
Right on.
I actually have that game, I think.
I do not.
So yes, get in there. Also, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. It hasn't happened for the last, I think, 3 weeks, but we do raid night. And yes, I said do. But anyways, we do.
Did you just say do?
I did. I feel like that's a Beavis and Butthead moment. But anyways, we do raid night. It's going to be Myogenics and Tuda McBooty. I'm not sure if they're back this week, but I believe they're back this week. We've been saying that a couple times that they're back, but they haven't been back. So it's been a little busy with Myogenics has been on vacation. Things have been happening and stuff like that we didn't know about. So we just kind of like blurted it out there. But Tuesdays at 8 p.m., raid night. That's when we show that GGR love and support. We go in there, we raid somebody, just somebody random, and we talk with them. We have a good time, invite them to our Discord if they want to come and stuff like that. And it's all about that gaming community, and that's what we try to spread here: love, gaming, and community. Right. That's all. That's what it's about.
That's right, for sure. It's a
and
awesome
duty,
community
apparently.
event. Hopefully, get that pulled off this week. I know behind the scenes we're talking about maybe some fill-ins and that kind of stuff to be able to keep that running each week, because life happens, right? Yes, we all try to keep to a stream schedule. We try to keep things going and be consistent. But at the end of the day, life does happen, planned and unplanned, and sometimes that does get in the way of certain things going on. But we're working behind the scenes right now, proactively as a group, to make sure that you get raid night every week going forward. So good news there. This week, weekly top 10 came out. Week number 58 already. It seems like the number 50 just came out, the special edition and all that. And it's been 8 weeks actually since it came out, because this is week 58 came back this last Thursday. If you haven't checked it out, please do. Go to the Good Game Report YouTube channel, watch the top 10, right? And if you're not submitting clips to the top 10 in the Discord, what are you thinking, right? Do you want to promote yourself? Yeah? Do you want to be featured in a YouTube video on the GGR channel? Sounds like a good idea. Why not? If it's funny, if it's a top play, whatever, pop it in there. Let us decide. Let us put it in there. Let us edit it up. It's good stuff. And by the way, I was really surprised because I don't look at these anymore before they go. It's actually a true surprise for me now. Somebody in this show actually finished in the top spot. In fact, I could argue that myself and the man next to me finished in the top spot. We had an Apex game back with Mostly a while back that earned the top spot this week. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Make sure you go in there and check it out. Don't think I've ever been part of that before as far as that goes. Got some gaming news next. We're going to kind of move into that in our middle kind of meaty section as we move through here. And then come back with some esports afterward. What do you got for gaming news to start off with, Tone?
Well, we were supposed to talk about this last week, but we're going to bring it up this week because I have to talk about this. We've been talking about this for the last 3 episodes or 2 episodes that we did prior, and hot tub streamers again. This time they got banned. Technically they're unbanned now. I saw them streaming the other day, so they're unbanned, but I'm not sure why. Yeah, they were briefly banned now. So before it was banned and we were unaware it was unbanned, but now that we are aware, we're going to let you know they're unbanned. But last Friday, I believe, it was last Friday, Twitch banned content creators Caitlin Amaranth, Siragusa, and Janelle Indie Fox. I don't know how to say the last name. Degris. Yeah. 2 major streamers, obviously, on the platform. They generate, these gals average, 20,000 people on their stream most of the time. And they got banned for the ASMR mic usage. Basically, they were dressed up in yoga wear or provocative wear, other provocative wear, and they were doing that weird mic thing where they talk in the mic and they do breathing sounds and all kinds of stuff or whatever. It's supposed to be a soothing thing for streams, like calming, soothing mic stream, but they were kind of like sexualizing it basically, and Twitch banned them immediately. So Siragusa told Polygon that Twitch told her the reason behind the ban was sexual content. Prior to the ban, the streamer did an ASMR yoga stream during which she held various yoga poses and simulated the sound of having your ear licked using a microphone. She said, "I think I'll have to be more careful. The atmosphere around moderation seems to be to let things fly until they're impossible to ignore," Siragusa told Polygon over email. She also emphasized that she was not the first person to do an ASMR yoga stream, obviously, because Indie Fox got banned. So I'm going to leave this question to you. First of all, number one, what do you think of these weird ASMR streams? Because I've seen them. I've seen actually a couple YouTube videos with people doing these weird sounds. They like touch the mic and they like It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. They're like in front of the mic and they got their eyes focused on the camera. And they're like stroking the mic and doing weird stuff and breathing and going or making weird noises on the mic, and it's supposed to be soothing. So, what do you think, first of all, about that? And then, what do you think about the ban? And should they have been unbanned? Because I personally think, man, just go away. Then, if you're gonna try to stretch the limits, which is what I called before, when you make your own channel for them. And that gives them the cockiness to think, hey, they made their own channel for me, so I'm gonna push the limits now. I'm gonna do this. Maybe they'll make their own channel for this now or whatever like that. And I think they're now starting to get a little cocky and push the limits. So I think the ban maybe let them know, hey, we're gonna ban you if you try this crap again. And the unban was to say, we'll let it go for now because we need to make money. And but do it again, and we'll find somebody else to make us money.
Yeah, I did. So a few things here to unpack there. Speaking of packing stuff in ASMR, this is what I'm used to with ASMR. People maybe doing a little popping, right? A little bit of unwrapping of something, maybe. I'm not used to people simulating someone's ear getting licked for ASMR. It's just not normal.
Hilarious.
But I think it's hilarious. I mean, these ladies are just finding what works. I mean, they're trying to push this platform. It's not like they're trying to hide what they're doing. This is completely on game and not unexpected, right? Twitch, unfortunately, though, this lets them. It's kind of like catching the big fish, right? You let it out a little bit. You let it out a little bit. You want to think it's got some room. You want to get it relaxed, right? Because you're going to take a break too. You don't want to break that pole, and then all of a sudden you jerk it and you move it back in. You set the hook, right? Well, this whole Twitch thing, like, just make up your mind, right? Set clear expectations for what needs to be done or not done, and just follow them. Quit dancing around, banning somebody for a day. You know, not something I'm going to jump into. Not something to take viewers away from me, but Twitch, if anything that you need to be right now and going forward, because you haven't been, is just be consistent.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something, just do it,
Yeah.
right? If you're going to come out with some change, then do it. Not even just this, and just everything that Twitch does is so inconsistent. They don't do anything consistent. The only thing they do consistently is be inconsistent. So, I'm not surprised, right? I saw these ladies get into ASMR because it comes on my suggested right down here in the bottom. You can't help but know where they're at. Twitch is putting them on there as suggestions because of the viewership. Viewership is great for these ladies, like you said. Twitch is looking the other way. They're like, let's let them get away with it because look at all these subscribers they're getting. We're getting half of that money, right? And that's what it really boils down to is the money, right?
Yep.
So I'm just calling Twitch out right now. Bar the Noob Show. Just be consistent. Quit screwing around, right? Pick a lane and go down it. And if that's what you're going to do, then that's what you're going to do, man. But stay consistent because all the rest of us want to know what platform we're streaming on and what we can expect or what we need to do or not do around the program. So that's my 2 cents. Hot tubs again. Here we go. uh, let's switch gears a little bit here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, please.
we were going to cover this last week. Obviously, it was fresh news last week. It's still pretty fresh news because all this stuff is coming out as we continue through the year. Going to go over some E3 news. Obviously, there's no way we can recap all of E3 on this show today. So we're going to pick and nibble at some different spots as we go through the gaming news here. So if we leave your favorite title or section out, I do apologize, but it would take us 5 or 6 episodes of Pardon the Noobs to actually give everything the time that it needs. So if we skip over something you were hoping to hear about, we do apologize. But we are going to go over some of the bigger pieces. Tony's going to get us started off with Capcom and what they brought to the show this year.
Yeah, Capcom did a short update. They basically spoke to updates on Resident Evil as well as Monster Hunter. And then Capcom also announced the development of Resident Evil Village of DLC. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that.
Well, it kind of wakes
If
up
you,
the game because
yeah,
Resident Evil Village was huge. A lot of people were streaming that just recently.
yeah,
I can't remember the tall chick's name, but she looks bad, man. She looks like
yeah,
she'll hurt you.
yeah. And also, just to add on to what you were saying, if you ever need to see this stuff, like obviously, just go on YouTube, search Capcom E3 and
Mhm.
E3 2021. Bam, all that's there for you. All the information's right there for you. So, Square Enix, they introduced a new Marvel game, Guardians of the Galaxy. Looked
Mm.
pretty dope, actually. Um, it's not an update on event for Avengers, just a completely new game. It puts you as Peter Quill, obviously Star Lord. You get to play with Gamora, Rocket, and Groot, and Drax. It will have a lengthy single player campaign, and it won't fall into the same multiplayer live game pitfalls that Marvel's Avengers did or made. Uh, Marvel Avengers got an update. This is what I'm very excited about. Um, Marvel Avengers has I've seen streams of it. I haven't played it yet. I'm excited to play it, but it got an update, and now I'm actually very excited to play it. It's got the free update too, free DLC, Black Panther War for Wakanda expansion. It looked amazing on that stream. I'm really pumped about it. If you want a chance to go look, I'm not going to talk too much about it. Just like I said, go to YouTube, search Square Enix E3 2021, and check out that thing, or just search the Black Panther expansion. It's dope. Final Fantasy fans will be happy to hear that the first 6 games of Final Fantasy 1, all the way through 6, will be coming back as a Pixel Remaster collection. These guys are really good at remastering games, and it will be nice. I'm not really into Final Fantasy. I've only played one, believe it or not, Final Fantasy 1 in my life. It was on
Really?
the NES. Yeah, and I've never played a Final Fantasy since, but that's horrible news, I know, but I'm just not really a big RPG guy. But it's a cool game. I acknowledge it's a great game. Just check it out. Pixel Remaster does a great job. It'll look really nice, especially considering the old pixel graphics to now, just touch adding that little nice touch to them. They'll look really cool. Um, Xbox and Bethesda. So, Starfield went first for Xbox. It was announced as an Xbox exclusive, the Game Pass. It's coming to Game Pass on November 11th.
I
And
love
that's
how
another theme. Yeah, this is another theme. I think that's what you're about to touch on. A lot of these games are coming to Game Pass, and it's really cool because they're being released to play on Game Pass. You don't have to pay the $60. You just pay your monthly fee, and you get to play these games right off the bat. So
Mhm.
I think that's what you were going to get at. Go ahead and say it.
Actually, I
Say
was
what
going
you're
to
going to
say
say.
something different. The funny part was when Bethesda and Xbox came together originally, they said, "Oh no, Bethesda's going to work off to the side on its own. It's still going to be available on other platforms." Me, I personally don't care. Sorry, PlayStation user, I'm not your friend, I guess, when it comes to this. But as they announced this, Bethesda is all apologizing to PlayStation users. We're so sorry. We had to make this one exclusive. So I wonder how many titles going forward Bethesda keeps exclusive and the PlayStation folks get shut out on. I don't know.
Mm,
I just thought
maybe.
it was
Who knows?
ironic. Really
Yeah.
ironic that they're announcing and then going back what they said just from a couple of months ago. Oh no, we won't have these as exclusive. We're gonna give these to everyone. Ha! No.
There had to be some exclusive. There's no way Microsoft's going to make a deal with you, put your
Right.
games on their platform, Game Pass and everything,
Exactly.
and then not have you make them an exclusive game. Like you knew, even I knew that there's got to be some kind of deal. A game or two is going to be on there
We all
for
knew it. I
sure,
was just
or
waiting
four.
for the shoe to drop, and the shoe's already dropped. First game out of the chute.
Yeah, yeah, and then they have to apologize. Sorry, oops.
So sorry. Sorry.
Um, there was some other games I'm looking forward to. I'm just gonna name them off. Back for Blood is from the makers of Left 4 Dead. I'm a
Hmm.
very huge fan of the Left 4 Dead series. And Back for Blood looked really, really cool. Sea of Thieves. I-
Hmm.
They're getting an update. It's basically a new pirate life expansion. It features Captain Jack from Pirates of the Caribbean. It basically turned it into a Disney game. That's what I got out of the whole thing when I watched it. Watch the trailer because it looks like you're playing like what's the game with those old Disney figures Disney Infinity where you put the like figures on this little platform thing. It hooks up to your Xbox 360 and then you can play
I
as
think I
those
got that.
characters. It looked like you're playing that game kind of style of game, but
Gotcha.
whatever. It's an update for people who like that kind of stuff. You can play that. And a first look at Battlefield 2042 multiplayer and a better look at each specialist tools. It was announced to be an Xbox console exclusive. Um, there was another game called Replaced that I was interested in. It's a platformer that's coming in 2022.
Hmm.
Looks very pixely. Looks like a cool platformer if you like those kind of old style looking games. One cool thing, Microsoft Flight Simulator dropped off a new trailer. Looked really boring, right? And then all of a sudden at the end, here comes Maverick flying in his F-15, it looked like. And it's the Top Gun expansion. Obviously, right
Hmm.
before the release of the movie, the new movie Top Gun's coming out. So Microsoft paired up with them and made this expansion for Top Gun. So instantly that game became like, whoa, you can fly as Maverick. And I thought it was really cool. The 80s, again, the 80s came right out of me.
Great marketing. Great marketing,
Great.
and to
Yep.
play on the 80s, especially with, you know what? If you cater to people in the 80s like us, we're established families and adults now. We have money to spend on this stuff. So great marketing.
Yeah.
100%.
Awesome. And Forza Horizon 5 debuted with a jaw-dropping trailer. The
Hmm.
graphics on this game were amazing. It's a new setting. It's in Mexico, and it's going to come out on November 7th of this year. November 7th of this year. And wow, what a jaw-dropping trailer. And I would say this. As a fan of both PlayStation and Xbox, I play everything. I don't have this console war thing. I don't debate in that kind of stuff. I love both. I love gaming in general. I've always said there's no console war with me. It's always software over hardware for me. But I will say this. I used to be a really big Gran Turismo guy. Loved
Me
Gran
too.
Turismo.
Me too.
And when Forza came out, I really wasn't looking at it and things like that. But wow. Forza to me has taken over the car simulator, car racing scene. Their graphics are just dope. They're so good. And the gameplay is good. And what they're doing is phenomenal. And when I saw that trailer, I was speechless. Look at me, I can't even talk. I was speechless. It was pretty cool.
As a Gran Turismo, like, very loyalist, I would put myself as. I hope the next one that comes out is just as smashing. It's great to have a
Yeah,
couple of car games that are just
yeah,
absolutely nuts looking and fun to play. I really miss having a good car game. And I guess if you thought I missed out on that, leave it in the comments in the chat or the comments in YouTube when this comes out. But man, this thing just amazing. I'm getting speechless just thinking about it. I'm replaying it in my head and when I was watching it, it's significant. It's a very good looking game. So
yeah. And last, of course, there's tons of other games. Go look them up. I don't even need to mention them. Just look up all the other cool games that are coming out. But last but not least, Halo Infinite. It showed off more goodies with a new story trailer and also lets us know that Cortana is back. Halo Infinite multiplayer is
yes,
also confirmed to be free to play. So the multiplayer is going to be free to play, which is awesome. We also saw plenty of weapons and armor customization. So I'm looking forward most to Halo, definitely. I'm a big Halo
absolutely.
fan. Love those games and can't wait to play them.
Have a comment on that. I'll leave till later in the show because we're going over some content that it falls in line with. But yeah, I'll talk about Halo later in the show a little bit too. All right, so next up we had the Ubisoft section, Ubisoft Forward. Saw a few different things come in there. A couple of them are really cool to me for sure. If you play Rainbow Six still, the Extraction expansion is coming here in September on the 16th, and the PC Stadia crossplay update actually happens in 3 days, 4 days on the 30th here. They're going to have crossplay for all platforms by early 2022 is what they announced. So if you're playing Rainbow Six, that's good news for you, especially if you got buddies playing on different platforms and whatnot. Brings it together, which is always a great thing. The other thing here, Rocksmith, right? It's been out before. Um, they kind of go in a different direction with this, and I think it's really, really cool, especially if you're legitimately trying to learn to play guitar or whatnot. And you want something interactive that's out there. They have a new subscription service out there that takes the music games to the next level. with a music learning program created in partnership with Gibson Guitars, a brand name in the industry, right? Game's going to use a smartphone as a microphone, so you can use either an acoustic, electric guitar without any additional equipment. Waiting to see how this comes out. There's been a lot of press about this from different genres, not just the gaming community, but out there the music community as well. I've been reading, and people are hyped about this. This is actually kind of a game changer in this space. So, looking forward to seeing how that works out. I've got a guitar sitting over my corner over here. I just have these short fingers, and they're wide, and grabbing chords are just it. Yeah, I got excuses. I should have been a bass player. That's it. But last thing on the update for Ubisoft was AC Valhalla, Assassin's Creed. You know, one of my favorite games, has another DLC. I'm currently playing through the current expansion, which is set in is it in Ireland? Boy, that's really bad that I can't remember that I'm playing it right now. Children of Danu, Wrath of the Druids, I think is what it's called. I'm playing through that right now. Siege of Paris is announced to come out a little later, along with the Discovery Tour. And I think it's just kind of different, right? So one thing that you notice about Assassin's Creed games is they're set in different time periods, right? You tend to learn a little bit about the time period as you play the game, right? There's things going on. Is it all using the same names as real history and that kind of stuff? Is there some etchy stuff in there? Sure, right? But they actually bring some religious influences and that kind of stuff into the game, so you just kind of immersed in whatever time period that you're in. Well, this Discovery Tour that they're going to launch later this fall is going to allow you to play as NPCs in the game and kind of walk through their daily life without, you know, you're going to be able to find out, you know, what does it look like for them? What does that setting look like at the time period? So if you like to play these games and you want to dig a little further into interactive history, it's going to be pretty cool to kind of take a different look. This is a completely different look in a video game. I don't know any other video game that's done this, where you can kind of swap around as an NPC and just kind of look around historically in time there. So I thought that was really interesting. Let's see here. Sony, completely absent from E3. It's their choice. They can do what they want. But really not sure why Sony didn't bring something out. This is
They're being weird, man. I don't know what's up with Sony this year, but like, I don't know. Maybe they got cocky from the PS4 being so good that they just like completely blowing their PS5 and their new stuff. It's like they don't want anybody to know anything, because why? Like, it doesn't make
why
any
not?
sense. Yes.
Like, game developers, indie game developers are coming out of the woodwork to put their stuff out on E3. To me, it's cocky. It comes across as cocky that Sony does not put anything out for us to see. You are one of the top 3 major brands out there, and you're not participating in E3? Come on, man. You got so much resources. You could have given this to interns to do, and it would have still been fun. Like, give us something. We're thirsty out here. E3 is a time that quenches our thirst. And you got all this stuff coming out. You're talking about all these games for the PS5, blah, blah. Show them, man. Capitalize on it. So I'll stop.
It goes in line with what they do. Like, when the PS2 was out, it was better than the Xbox. Remember that? The original Xbox. Then the PS3 came out and the 360 came out. 360 ruled. I'm sorry, but 360 was just better.
Yeah.
The games, exclusives, the stuff. The PS3 had some cool stuff, but it was a great system. It's not a bad system. It was just the Xbox 360 at the time was better for gamers who wanted to game together socially and things like that as well. Then the PS4 came out. It obviously beat the Xbox One, and now here we go with the PS5 and Xbox Series X, and it seems like the Xbox Series X and Microsoft is doing their thing. They realized their mistakes from the year before, and they're changing it.
Perception's reality, folks. If you don't put yourself out there and advertise your product, it's just not going to seep through the floors of gamers and just come into their body in their sleep at night. You got to put it out in front of them. You're a multimedia company. Millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of employees, that you can't show up to E3. Shame on you, Sony. Shame on you. Moving on to somebody who did show up to E3, Nintendo. So a couple different things happened here. the really big one, I'll wait till last because that's the one I'm most excited about. But there's going to be a new Metroid game, fifth one in the series. It's going to be called Metroid Dread. It's going to take place after Metroid Fusion, and it's going back to being a 2D platform game. So kind of excited to see what that looks like. We mentioned Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy earlier. Hyrule Warriors, which is kind of like a semi-Zelda game. They let somebody else develop it, right, and use some characters and whatnot. They announced a DLC for that. It's first one, Pulse of the Ancients, which dropped on June 18th. It was just 8 days ago they dropped that. And I honestly haven't played the game. Something about me is just kind of being a Zelda loyalist or a purist, I guess I would say, kind of like the game of baseball. There's some things I just won't touch. This is one of those games I'm just kind of like, I don't care how well it was made. I'll wait for the real one to come out, and throw all the hate and ats at me on my Twitter, JGotti KS79. Just hit me up. Talk hate to me if you don't agree with that. That's fine. Everybody can have their own opinion, as I do have mine, but it's kind of set that aside. But we finally got to look at Breath of the Wild 2, confirmation of a 22 release date next year. That's gonna be huge. Been waiting for Breath of the Wild 2 to come out. They are not talking about a title on this one, because they say the title would pretty much give away what the game's going to be about. We obviously saw some gameplay. We saw some different tools that Link's going to be able to use. We saw some things come back from Breath of the Wild 1. Looks very dark. Looks kind of in the clouds a little bit as well. So I'm really excited to play this next year. I'm happy that it's been announced. I'm kind of sad that I have to wait a whole nother year before it's going to come out. And who knows when in 2022 it's actually going to come out, because they just mentioned the year. But really looking forward to that. Thanks, Nintendo, for bringing that out and finally just giving us Zelda people something to at least look at or start to mark on our calendars for, instead of waiting and wondering when it might come out. So that's entertaining. EA as well, no participation in the event. EA just didn't come out. I guess they don't have anything they want to show off. What? Why?
Because they want to do their own thing and have their own by themselves thing. They don't want to be with everybody else.
Generate their own hype.
They're above everybody else, So they want to be it. They want their own thing.
EA and Sony, they're just out there on their own. They're just floating through life. Here we go. Happy times.
Yeah, I mean,
nonsense.
They did.
It's a gaming show. Show up. Nonsense. Yeah. Wow. So at the end of E3, they always have an award show, right? So gonna hit a couple of those titles. Obviously, Xbox and Bethesda's most anticipated game, Halo Infinite, that's in the bag, right? Square Enix most anticipated game, the Guardians of the Galaxy game, looks cool. I can't wait to check that out. That's actually, I think it's going to be pretty darn cool.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Nintendo Breath of the Wild 2, of course, we know that. And the most anticipated game overall voted after all. And these awards go on after the show's concluded, right? It's always on the Tuesday night. The one that everybody's the most excited about, you heard us talking about it earlier, Forza Horizon 5. People are just lit about this. The graphics, the gameplay, this looks so cool. So it was voted most anticipated game of the entire show. Just think, Sony, you might have been in there. You might have had something in there yourself. Who knows? But
yeah,
EA, Sony, shame on you. Sorry, I'm dumping on a little bit extra there, but just like, man, this is, I don't know. If there's like a Super Bowl of your industry where you can market your stuff, take advantage of it. Man, they obviously know more than I do, because I don't have a successful software gaming, consoles, TVs. They don't have a company like that they do. I don't. So obviously I know nothing. All right, let's move on. Twitch gave some news recently to kick off its 10-year anniversary. It's actually some pretty cool stuff for streamers. Some of it we're not going to see for a little bit. Some of it's going to come online as we go. 4 big points that they kind of showed out here and said, hey, we're going to have some different stuff for Twitch streamers. I'm like, okay, great. Also, people, watching the streams. So the first one, the big one, I think, is animated emotes. This is probably going to get the most attention, right? So partners are going to get first access, and some affiliates by the end of 2021. Be able to add up to 5 animated emotes to use for benefit of the tier 1 subscribers. So that'll be additional emotes, it looks like, that you'll be able to use there. Be able to manage and upload animated emotes from the emotes page like you normally do. And I think you can go there now and you can actually check some of that out. Or just sign into your Twitch account. It's all there, right? If you're affiliated, you'll be able to see some of that stuff kind of coming to fruition. You can also, they're going to put it in there where you can animate your existing emotes. So if you want to animate your existing ones, you already have, there'll be 6 animations to an existing emote, right? So 6 different motions that we'll do with your emote. Called some of the examples are shake, rave, roll, spin, slide in, and slide out. So if you don't have a buddy that makes emotes for you that can make some animations, and hey, by the way, emote makers, you're going to actually have to learn to do animation now if you didn't know before. And if you haven't, get on it. It's an opportunity to make some money because people want to use these in their streams. Here's another one that's kind of cool. Follower emotes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So emotes have always been a subscriber-driven thing where you're having to use your Twitch Prime or you're subbing for $4.99 a month to take the advantage of some of these emotes, right? We got the bits emotes a while back, and now we have follower emotes. So it's going to beta test with select partners and affiliates. They're going to work the bugs out with it. They're going to see how it influences the channel. But basically, once following a channel, the viewer will have the opportunity to access, provided the streamer has it set up, follower emotes, where you wouldn't actually have to sub to do that. So there'll be a little bit of strategy by Twitch streamers, I'm sure, to kind of put that in the right space where they're not maybe giving out their best ones, but maybe they're teasing into that a little bit. So even if you just follow somebody, you don't have to subscribe to go in there and use some cool emotes from the channel. I do believe that those are only going to be available in that channel, though. You won't be able to take that, like, if I follow Optimus, I'm not going to be able to take his follower emote and spam that in another chat. It will be just for that chat.
Yeah,
so
that's a good thing. I actually like that.
It is
because it's something good for a smaller streamer. You know, something worthwhile for a small streamer to have people that follow them and use and see their emotes being used in their stream. It's good mentally for you
Absolutely.
to see that. It's good for encouragement. I like that. That's a very good thing that Twitch did.
Both
Smart
sides
thing.
of the fence benefit there, whether you're watching or you're streaming. I think it's good for both parties. The fourth thing that they came out, they're saying they're make available to us is it's called a library, right? So if you're a Twitch affiliate and you've done different emotes before, if you bring a new one on, that means you got to delete one and then keep it somewhere safe if you want to bring it back, all that good stuff. And when you bring it back, it'll have to be reapproved and all that good stuff. You won't be able to just put the same one in there. It's going to give you a streamlined option where you can actually have a library in your Twitch account. So, hey, I want to swap this one out for this quarter or this next 3 months. I can put this one on the shelf in the library. It's already approved, right? And I can just swap them back and forth as I wanted to. So this will make it a little easier for you to manage your emotes, and you don't have to have that folder on your secondary data drive where you keep this stuff and then go find it later and you have it reapproved to have it uploaded and all that good stuff. And I know they've gotten much faster on that, but 10 times more convenient. Bravo Twitch for thinking about this. This really helps folks that like to switch out emotes or maybe just adjust as times go. I've had the same emotes forever. I made one a little bit ago to try something new. This makes me want to go ahead and try out some different emotes, right? And put a rotation out there a little bit with some stuff. So earlier we were talking about Twitch and how inconsistent they are with things, right?
Mhm.
This is the kind of things we want from you, Twitch. Be consistent about this.
Yeah.
Develop the communities, right? Help people grow, right? If you help people grow, there's a whole lot more streamers out there that are being watched and getting subscribed to and all that fine stuff. This is the stuff you need to be consistent about, Twitch. Please take note. If you haven't, take note. With that said, last piece of gaming news for the day, and this has just come out this last week. Very exciting stuff. So a couple of weeks ago, Dexerto was reporting that we all thought that crypto was going to get the next heirloom, right? Revenant seems to be getting the next heirloom, and we've actually confirmed that this week. For those of you that aren't familiar with heirlooms and Apex, they're basically ultra rare cosmetics specific to a legend, right? They're very rare to be able to get a hold of. This is very difficult to get a hold of. You can't just buy one. Looking at the Revenant one on your screen now, here is Revenant's brand new heirloom. It looks pretty sick. Might actually have to give Rev a little play. I don't know. If heirlooms were easier to get a hold of, I mean, this is all great. This is grand, right? But you can't go out there and you can't even go buy an heirloom, really, which is weird because you think they just sell these suckers, but they like to keep it rare. And it is ultra rare because essentially you have to get the right crafting materials in a pack. Sometimes they'll have a collection event where if you finish the whole thing, you have the opportunity to grab one. That's where I finished one. I got my Bloodhound one back for the PC because I lost them all on my Xbox. It's still ultra rare and people love it. I can't lie. I love carrying around my little Bloodhound heirloom when I play, and love chopping people with it. So, limited time event starts this Tuesday, June 29th. And oh boy, if you're an Apex player that's been around since season 0, right? And you know who you are, this is going to be legit. Absolutely legit. Here in a second, we're going to watch the gameplay trailer for what's dropping on June 29th, just to outline it. 3 big things. In arenas, we're going to have a Skulltown map. Skulltown, which we've been missing. It's been sitting off in the sea forever. Also, we're going to play an OG Kings Canyon map. I'm saying before they blew it up and did all the other crazy, hairy, you-know-what to it. Skulltown. OG Kings Canyon. Also an OG World's Edge map before they literally blew it all up and brought lava around and all kinds of crazy stuff. All starting June 29th with the Genesis Collection event. I believe the producer is bringing that up. So you're going to hear me pause for just a moment. You won't hear us. You're going to hear the trailer, and let's watch that together here, okay?
Just got one more and I'm good. Simple in and out. You got this, Nita. 1 and 10. Go back to boot camp.
Now this is worth living for. Come on, bro. Jimmy's got your back.
They did this to both of us.
I know what I came for. I'll get it one way or another. You should smile more.
They say there's honor in death.
Oh, man.
That looks great.
Absolutely lit. Watching gameplay from the arguably sweatiest area in any Apex map you've ever been in, Skulltown. The hair on the back of my neck standing up a little bit right now. I'm super excited about this. We've been asking for this. Rhino's been out there on TikTok and Instagram. Bring back an OG Kings Canyon map. He's been saying this for weeks, months, and it's like he made a connection with Respawn and made it happen. So thanks out there to Rhinolicious if you're listening, or you're listening later this week. I'm talking Respawn into getting their act together and bringing back what we truly loved, what we fell in love with Apex, a lot of us, as we started to play this a very long time ago. Really cool event. Can't wait to start that on Tuesday. AC Valhalla might even have to take a break on Tuesday, depending on what time it drops. I may have to get in there and take advantage of the event. So, really cool heirloom, right? Got some OG maps. Arenas, Skulltown. I'm just gonna. Tony, I know you don't like arenas, brother, but we're gonna have to play some Skulltown, brother. We're gonna have to do it.
Arenas. I don't like it. It's not fun. Everybody sits back and snipes. That's all they do. It's driving me nuts. Well, I guess in Skulltown, if there's inside play, it's gonna be hard to
Oh, yeah.
sit back and snipe. So maybe it'll make it so that you have more. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be somebody sniping from somewhere, but maybe it'll be more congested. I want it where it's congested. Just fight.
It
Stop
should be
sitting
just
back and picking off till a shield cracks and then rush in. It's boring.
So this, and obviously we haven't played this yet, but this makes me think about the map shipment on COD.
Yes.
Just absolute nuts all the time.
Yes.
This is what I envision this being. I hope that's going to turn out that way. Just like you said, we don't want to stick with sniper rifles out here.
Even if I suck, it's the action.
Let's get in there and let's have really good gunfights. Really good gunfights, right?
Yes.
This should allow us to do that. So thank you, Respawn, for bringing this out. We can't wait to get in there on Tuesday and get after this, because this is truly going to be a memorable event. Hopefully they did it right. All right, moving on to esports. Let's talk about it. It concluded last week. Major number 4 is over. That means 4/5 of the regular season in the COD League is over. Atlanta FaZe went in their 3rd out of 4 majors. This is just some dominant dudes, man. They've got a team, got some United guys that are on that team, and they just it's terrible. It's terrible in a good way. We're going to put the final bracket up here on the screen so you can kind of see the progress. I want to talk you through a little bit about what happened. FaZe, no problem, right? They come in as the top seed. They beat Rocker, Minnesota Rocker 3-0 in their first match. Ultra 3-1, and they're sitting in the grand final waiting for everything to happen, right? They end up beating Dallas 5-4 in the final. We'll talk about that more here in a moment. The Dallas Empire, I've been bagging on them for like 4 or 5 shows in a row because they just haven't figured it out. Guess what? The Dallas Empire got a lot of heart, and they did figure it out this major, so watch out for them in stage 5. They had a little more interesting trip to the final, as you can see there. They started off out of the gate 3-0 and sweeping my Optic boys, which I'm just going to say they're trash right now. They're just, oh my goodness, it's disheartening. They end up losing their second match to Toronto Ultra 3-2, so they dropped down in the elimination bracket. Tony's team did not stand in the way. NYSL, the subliners, have been giving them their fair amount of crap recently, but it didn't happen. It was 3-1. It was pretty open and shut case. Took out my Optic team a second time, 3-1, eliminated them. And then they won the elimination bracket final, 3-2 over Toronto Ultra. And this is rare, especially at this time in the event. They had a reverse sweep. Toronto came out 2-0 and looked strong. Dallas came in, won control, won the hard point, and the S&D. And reverse sweep to Toronto Ultra to send them home and not send them back for another FaZe Ultra final. Dallas ends up going. This is LAN, remember? They're playing down there next to the Jerry Dome. They have that whole commerce area. They have an esports arena down there. So this is the first time the players have been all back together, competing in the same place. Unfortunately, didn't have fans. It probably won't be till next season. But a lot of fun here because on LAN, it is very responsive, right? We're not worried about ping rates and stuff like that playing over the internet. If you're competing in a LAN, this is truly the best of the best. So this feels really good for Dallas. This feels really good for Atlanta and people that played well, because it doesn't get more responsive in LAN. There is hardwired in together. There's nothing that beats that, right? So tough match. Dallas had played virtually like over 7 hours by the time, because they came through the elimination bracket. They're playing the first match against Optic. They got to go out and they got to take out, Toronto. And then they got to play a best of 9 with FaZe. Wow, these guys really had a lot of mental fortitude to carry through this and just be competitive right up until the end. This went 5-4, right? It went down to game 9 in the grand final for Atlanta FaZe to finally be able to snatch this away from Dallas Empire and say, no, go home. We're the third time major champs out of 4 so far. And hats off to Dallas. I've been talking a lot of smack on them. They've had a lot of roster issues. think they've had a lot of just general issues in game planning and that kind of stuff, and they just came together this major, and they made it count. So next thing we're gonna put up on the screen here is we're gonna talk
Not
about.
to interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead.
Not to interrupt you real quick. Sorry. Um, you know how it was 5-4 Atlanta, right? Remember we
Yeah.
talked about this a few weeks ago. You think it was because they were sitting waiting for Dallas to play them and Dallas came in fresh that they maybe kept it that close?
No, I think Dallas is playing out of their mind. I think that FaZe, they're just so good, man. Tony, these guys don't need a warm up. These
No, I've
guys are
seen them
nuts.
play. They're amazing.
They're very good with comms. They're very good strategically. They're very good with just all. They don't make a lot of mistakes. That's the
No.
only time you get a game on them is if they've made a mistake. Like you're not going to beat them. Like if you're talking about just doing the basic things, going through the motions and doing the right things, they do it consistently. That's why they've been so good.
Mm.
I think that if Dallas didn't have to play so many matches, I think Dallas might have beaten FaZe in this best of 9. So we were talking about a few weeks ago with Major 3 about how, the subliners had to sit there and wait for other people to come through, right? And how they were cold going into the final.
Mhm.
It's kind of the opposite now, right? So
Mm.
the opposite happened where Dallas had to play, they're playing physically right there. They were on stage for over 7 hours that Sunday consecutively, right? And so that last hour and a half is playing FaZe after you got to be mentally and physically drained. You're up there on the stage, all the
Yeah.
lights are going, all that stuff, for TV. And not to mention just the gameplay, the game after game after game, because these guys are only getting like 15 minutes between matches, right?
Crazy.
So just
Yeah,
the
I can see
ability to,
where mentally you can kind of break down a little bit, or maybe some finger fatigue, or maybe some from the controllers and things like that. But I mean it sounds funny because to me they're like finger athletes, but like
yeah,
but like
they are a
it's
little
all
bit.
mental too. But
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make fun of them. I'm just saying, like in real, like on the real, like your fingers, they tend to cramp up. They tend to get hurt when you're gaming for a while. And if you're up there for hours using your fingers, I mean, it's tough.
I mean, if you're an old man like Crim Six in the game, I mean, I guess he might run into that a little bit, but these young cats probably not. I can't stream for 4 hours without my, intensely playing without my hands like cramping up. There's no way I'd do like a 12-hour stream or something like that. These guys
Yeah,
played
yeah.
for nonstop for almost 7 hours. They're young, but yeah, it just takes a lot out of you mentally and physically. So if you're not into esports, you want to know what money's out there. We're going to put a tweet up here on the screen. It's going to show the final placement and prize money for what the top 4 teams brought back. First place with FaZe, already covered that. $200,000 go from winning this major. Obviously, they don't just split that amongst the players; it's the organization as well. It goes in lots of different ways. But $200,000 gets split up for Atlanta FaZe. Second place with Empire, $120K for coming in second. That don't suck. Third place, Toronto Ultra got 80. Optic got 40 out of the fourth place finish. I mean, that's still worth the trip. That's worth the trip from Chicago down to Dallas. If they were physically traveling there, right? So I think fifth and sixth end up getting a share that was equal. Subliners and Rocker 20K apiece, 10K apiece for Florida and Seattle. And if you finish 9th, 10th, or further down, so that's the LA Gorillas, Paris, the LA Thieves, which has just absolutely melted themselves into I don't know, and the London Royal Ravens. They took nothing, absolutely nothing for their time, sweat, and money. Which brings us up to stage 5. Stage 5, here it is. We only have 5 stages in a COD season, and then we have Grand Champs, which is basically the final tournament at the end of the year, the playoffs, heading to the Super Bowl, if you will. We have and one more tweet out there for the current standings, and what you're looking for is you want to be one of the top 8 teams to go to Champs. You notice there's 12 teams there, right? Guess what? Right now, LA, Paris, London, Seattle, you're not going to Champs unless you change something in stage 5. This is it. Right now, you've got those top 8 you see there on the screen. If the season ended today, that would be the seeding for Grand Champs. So we got one more stage coming here. Game 5, stage 5, said game. Here it is. This is it. They just picked teams for it as well. Official groups for Stage 5 include Group A, Atlanta FaZe, Optic Chicago, The Thieves, Tony's Subliners, Paris, and London. I kind of think that's probably the easier of the two because look at Group B. You got Dallas, Toronto, Minnesota, Florida played well. LA Gorillas, that's the freebie in there. And then Seattle Surge have been playing well as well. So that's Group B. So Stage 5 will be starting here soon. We'll talk more about some results of that because I think they're going to play this next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. And we'll get talking through it. Stage 5, here it goes. And we're on. So next up, finish out our esports news for the week. I'm going to talk about our GGR CSGO team having a rough time. These guys started off, I believe, 6-2. 6-2. They were on a run. Teams locked down with players. They went into Tuesday's match with a 7-7 record, unfortunately, against Notorious, which is a 10-5 team. Solid team, good team. It was tough. They went down 9-9. It was not 9-9, 9-16. Dropped them 7-8 on the year. Just some not necessarily chemistry issues, but we've had some players in and out during the season, dealing with some real life stuff. It has put us in a bad spot where we had that consistency that kind of took away some of the consistency. And if you're playing any kind of team sport, having people work together that are used to working together is huge. And we run into some of that. So stats for the match: 4 out of the 5 team members had at least 42 seconds of enemy blind time, which is important. Flashing is so important in CSGO. You want to make sure that the enemy can't see, and you pop them while they do that. JGotti did lead the team with 102.76 damage per round. He was 26.58% on his headshots, and he had 2 3-kill rounds. Moj left the team with a 1.12 KD, or kill to death ratio. If it's any consolation, Notorious is a very good team. This is a playoff team. This is somebody that's going on to try to move out of the intermediate level. But you know what? These guys have fought hard all year. They had a really good season until life got in the way, and that's just really unfortunate. So season 37, we will not qualify for the postseason. It will not happen this year on season 37. Season 38, I'm sure, will start up in a fair amount of time here. Last match is going to be tomorrow night against Steel's Bicycle. They're 9-6 team right now. A team that's trying to, I think you can get in at 10-6 into the playoffs, just depending on where the standings is at, from what I talked with Zeller about. So they might be able to play the spoiler role against Steel's Bicycle and maybe knock them out of the playoffs. If you have time on Sunday night, stop by 9:30 p.m. Eastern on different channels, right? Just look at the graphic. I'll put it out in socials during the day on Sunday, and I'll make sure it's in the general chat too in Discord. Go send these guys off. Let's go give these guys a pat on the back. Let's root them on. Let's see if they can't pull out this last win. Go 8-8 on the year, on the season. I keep saying year, it's a season because there's multiple seasons per year. But these guys got off to a rip-roaring start. If we just keep the team together, right, keep everything aligned, hopefully real life can stay out of our way in season 38. These guys will make the playoffs. These guys will win at least one game in the playoffs in season 38. And they will move up from the intermediate league to the main league. So that's their goal. They want to keep moving up. It's kind of like baseball. I've talked about this before. You got single A, double A, triple A, majors, and so on. They're only a couple steps away from being at the height of the game. So let's root them on. If you got time Sunday night, stop in. They're not going to be able to interact with you in the chat. They're competitively playing an esport, but they're streaming that on Twitch. Just go give them some support. Put some GGs in there. Put some hype in there. They can see the chat blowing up. Give them some extra juice Sunday night. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. I do really enjoy, and thank you guys for a great season 37. Sorry the second half of the season did not go as planned. Very entertaining. You guys are all very good at this game, and the comms, everything is legendary. It really is. Just wish we could have kept you together for the whole season. But if you got time Sunday night, give them a shout. Stop in one of the streams. Give them some props. I'll hit them up in Discord after as well. Let's show some love for them. They represent our brand, the Good Game Report, and definitely want to support them. So, moving out of esports, I think we got Retro Corner coming up with Optimus. What do you got for us, buddy?
So, the Legend of Zelda, it was kind of like a surprise launch by Nintendo. They launched a Legend of Zelda Game and Watch celebrating the 35th anniversary of Legend of Zelda, and it's coming out this November. And the handheld will be available November 12th. I've already pre-ordered mine. The handheld follows 2020's 35th anniversary celebration of the Super Mario Brothers Game and Watch, and which, if you've had the old ones, are really really cool. I have the the Super Mario Brothers watch as well. It's really cool. It's going to be $49.99, and it includes Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, and 1993's The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening for Game Boy. There's also an adaptation of Vermin, one of the original Game & Watch's games, which is Link as a playable character fending off rodents whack-a-mole style. It's really, really cool thing to have, and these things are dope because they are you can customize them. You can jailbreak them and put other games in them, and you can add things to them, so and play them that way as well. So you can add other ROMs and things like that and do things like that. Not that I condone that, Nintendo, but you can do it. So it makes it even more fun to own them. And the screen is really, really good. And the battery life on these things are amazing. So really cool thing to own if you can get your hands on one. They're not available. It's not one of those things where scalpers are going to grab them and try to sell them to you. I mean, they will try to sell them to you for more. You'll see them, but you can get your hands on them. Nintendo keeps releasing them. So I recently got my Super Mario Brothers Game and Watch, so they're not attainable. So you can definitely get your hands on one. I don't know if you
Very
have
cool.
these or like these. I know you like Zelda, so or if you're
I
planning
do,
on
but I don't
getting
have
one.
as much collection as you do. So while I would
I
like to get
collect
something
everything.
like this, I don't collect much. So this would be like a beginning piece, and I think that's. I don't want to open the wormhole. So
Yeah.
I got enough habits to spend money on. I don't need another one. So it's up
Yeah.
your alley. You've got quite a collection there. So this is
Yeah. It's
perfect.
great
To
for
add.
collectors.
Mhm.
Definitely. And next, the first 3 Super Monkey Ball games are getting an HD remaster. If you ever played Super Monkey Ball, awesome game. You're basically a little monkey, you're running around, and it's really fast paced, and you're collecting stuff and things like that. But the first 3 Super Monkey Ball games are Super Monkey Ball 2, and Super Monkey Ball Deluxe. And Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania will launch worldwide on October 5th to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Super Monkey Ball franchise, as announced by a release from Sega. Remaster brings back the original 3 games with updated graphics and additional modern features like online challenges and leaderboards. It also introduces a comic book style of storytelling and new playable characters. Key features of the original, like a 4-player local co-op, will still be present in the remaster. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania recreates roughly 300 levels and 12 mini games from the first 3 games in the Super Monkey Ball franchise. Players navigate a monkey and a hamster ball while playing sports-inspired mini games or perilous and zany obstacle courses. The first 2 games launched in the early 2000s exclusively to the GameCube. I own them. They're right back there. The franchise has since launched on numerous platforms, consoles to mobile versions, with more than a dozen titles. Super Monkey Ball is a very fun game if you've never played it.
I never have. Question: Sonic came first, right? Or did Super Monkey Ball actually come first?
Sonic, because Sonic's on the Genesis.
This
Super
looks
Monkey
very.
Ball came to the GameCube.
This looks
And it's more
very Sonic-y.
yeah, it's kind of Sonic-y. It's hard though. So it's like
Okay.
it's more about balance in Super Monkey Ball, like trying to
Okay.
maintain. Have you ever played Marble Madness?
No.
Where you have to balance the marble through all these obstacle courses. It's more like that, but with a Sonic style.
So a different
So it's kind of like comparison.
different aspect in the actual what you have to do as far as the gameplay goes. I got
Yeah,
you.
it's hard
Makes
to
sense.
balance him and do stuff with the Super Monkey Ball, where Sonic is more linear. You're
Okay.
not really you're just trying to do your stuff and do your things and get through your obstacles and beat your bosses. This is a little different.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some tech talk. I have a few things to talk about there. The Tato announced the Egret 2 mini arcade machine. And let me give you an example of what one will look like. This is the Sega Astro City Mini, as you see here. It's a little mini arcade machine. I have a little attachment to this, but basically these arcade machines were very popular in Japan, like the actual models. there was arcades full of these machines, and now they're making the mini ones for release. And I got my hands on that Sega Astro City Mini with the attachments and stuff like that. And it's really cool. As Gotti said, I collect, so I have it. But I'm excited about this one because it's the Tato version. It's all the Tato games. The games have not been announced as of yet. At least I haven't seen the games announced as of yet, so I'm not sure what games are on this. You can look up Tato and see all their games and stuff like that to see what possibly it will be in. But it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna probably pre-order it right now. It's just pre-orders are in Japan, so if you find the site and things like that, you have to translate in Google Translate unless you know Japanese. But it's gonna be a fun system, and the cool feature about this one is it actually has a rotating screen. So if you're playing a game like a racing game that has a vertical look or an arcade vertical look, you can rotate the screen and put it in so that you're playing that game with that look, and then you can rotate it back for other games.
Oh,
Really, really cool thing, and it has an SD card slot as well, so you can, of course, add more games. You can play more games right off of it, and arcade games and stuff like that on it. So it's really cool. So it's a system that I like because not only can you play the games that they're going to have on it, but you can, add more games to it for your arcade feel, and play your little arcade machine with other games as well.
I saw it comes with 40 preloaded too. So you got 40 on
Yeah.
there already, and then you can
Yeah.
add more. Virtually unlimited with an SD card at some point.
Yeah. These arcade machines are getting really, really popular, these mini arcade machines, and they're just being made just better. I mean, this Sega Astro Mini, it's made very well. The buttons are very clicky. It's like you're at an actual little arcade, except for, it's just small and it's handheld. You just put it on your little desktop and play.
Nostalgia.
Yeah. Also, the Xbox Series X games will soon be playable on Xbox One via cloud streaming. This was last week's news as well. Xbox. So basically, you're going to be able to play Xbox Series X games that were released for Xbox Series X on your Xbox One X, basically, and play them virtually via the cloud. So it's really, really cool. You can't obviously play the disc. You can't put the Xbox Series X disc into an Xbox One, but you can play it via the cloud, and it's really dope. Basically, you're streaming through your Xbox One. So, like I said, Microsoft doing it again. Backwards compatible rules the day, especially for people that, they haven't got their hands on an Xbox Series X because there's all these people buying them up, trying to sell them for way overpriced. Xbox looked at that and says, you know what? You can still play our game. Just play it via the cloud. Just subscribe to our service. Come to us. Subscribe to our service. We'll let you play. We'll let you play Series X games on there because guess what? The Xbox One X and the Xbox Series X are both 4K. So you're still playing it in 4K. It's not as fast as the Xbox Series X is, but you're still playing it in 4K. You still can enjoy the games and have fun.
My One X is no slouch. No slouch.
Yep. And last, the Atari VCS Retro console. We talked about this, many shows back. When its release and everything finally gets its retail release. It's going to be sold retail stores, basically Best Buy and places like that. You can look them up. Finally, it's going to be sold on there, and that's a smart move because this console wasn't doing very well. It wasn't well received. A lot of people weren't. A lot of reviewers, especially on YouTube, were not feeling this console, and they were basically saying, it's overpriced for what it does and things like that. But now you can be able to get it on Best Buy. Hopefully it gets its name out there more. It is a sharp looking console. I will admit
it is
a sharp looking console but what it does is everything's got to be online subscription kind of thing where you're buying games online. It's kind of overpriced a little bit. Maybe that'll come, later on they'll drop the price. But what I would suggest is keep an eye on this now that it's in retail stores. Eventually there'll be deals. Eventually there'll be clearance or things like that, and you'll be able to get this game for really cheap and then really enjoy what it has without, spending $300 for it.
Yeah, we were talking about this a few weeks ago. They were talking about I can't talk today. The pre-purchasing, the pre-sale had started, right, where people could buy them, and with a promised hopeful ship date of sometime soon. The fact that these are actually coming to retail, this wasn't even talked about a few weeks ago, right? When we talked about this story a few weeks ago, the possibility was going to retail seemed like they're just going to pre-sell these, they're going to ship them, and that's it. If you want to order them online, they're not going to mass produce these things. And now they're going to show up in Best Buys and micro centers and whatnot, and be out there where you can physically go grab it. So I think this is a very positive look at what this thing might actually be able to do, or what it might look like. And like you said, prices are going to probably become affordable. There's enough demand for it. And if it's enough to where they're actually putting these out in some cities, in these retail environments, and it's not just like a pre-order there too, or you have to wait for it to have to come and ship. You can physically go walk in and grab one and take it home. This might actually have some legs for a while.
Yeah, most definitely. And that was it for Retro Corner. But we'll talk about game deals. I only have one thing to talk about for game deals, and it's the main thing. Steam Summer Sales here. Steam Summer Sale goes on all the way to July 8th. It started on June 24th. And if you don't know what Steam Summer Sale is, get on it, because my goodness, if you like digital downloads and you like your Steam account, this is the best time to buy all the games you can possibly get, because they just drop. I mean, games up to sometimes 90% off of games. Right now, I'm looking at it currently, and I see Halo Anniversary. The Master Chief Collection is $20. I'm looking at some Cyberpunk is on there. From what I hear, Cyberpunk on PC is obviously the best version to get, because on console they kind of screwed it up. $40.19. There's
Red Dead
a lot of
Redemption
great.
2 is the big one out there too.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is on there for $40 as well. Red Dead Redemption 2, I should say. We talked about Forza earlier. Forza Horizon 4 is $30 on there. And some of these games, if you wait, they even drop even lower. Sometimes they'll do like flash sales where you'll get a great game for like 80, 70% off, 60% off, and things like that. So just keep every day, check out Steam Sale. It's well recommended, because man, they just give you some great deals, and you get to keep these. These are games that are yours. These are games that are always will be yours. It's not subscription based. You purchased them, they are yours.
One-time deal. They sucked me in the other day. They sucked me in, and I had to take a look, because I knew we were going to talk about it on the show. I wanted to see what's out there. This is dangerous, by the way. I'm seeing tweets about it and how people are spending all this money on the Steam Summer Sale, and I know that it's a dangerous place to be. You mentioned earlier in the show Halo Infinite's coming out later this year. I went ahead and swapped. I got the Master Chief Collection. I had to do it. I'm gonna have to get the pack of packs, playing some Halo on the way in. And by the way, if you like Assassin's Creed, and like me, and this is obviously the sale's not over until July. Up over my shoulder here, there's a whole bunch of Assassin's Creed games up there. All of them, by the way, for console with a physical disc. You can get a lot of these older titles for $4 or $5 a piece. So if you haven't played through some like 1, 2, 3, 4, which is Black Flag, the all the other ones, the smaller ones that came out, if you want to get through some Assassin's Creed, very inexpensive on here. I know Bert was finishing up his collection. He had a couple that he wanted to get to kind of finish his out. This is a great opportunity. If you game on a PC, this is it, folks. Go out there and do it. Get what you want, go look at it, and then pay attention as you go, because like Tom said, there will be some prices that go down as the event goes as well, because they're trying to capitalize. So,
and also a pro tip for you streamers out there: Steam Sale is your friend, because if you stream, especially if you stream on PC and you're a PC gamer / streamer, buy these games while they are on sale. Do not add them to your game collection. You can save these games as you buy them, and you can do giveaways on your stream.
Very
So
interesting.
basically, you buy a bunch of $5 games that are worth $60, or you buy a few games that are $10 here and there. You got some money. You can give them games away on your stream and bring in more viewers, because people love giveaways. They do love giveaways. I'm not saying use that all the time, but as a streamer, your community is watching you play a certain game, and you want to gift that game to somebody so they can play it as well and enjoy it as much as you do. You can have those games already ready on hand when you game on them, or when you're playing that game, and give that game away during the stream. Especially if you get it at a discount rate already, you just save it up.
Yeah, Hot tips from Optimus Magnum this morning, folks. As
I'm
a
here for you.
streamer, you too can save some money on giveaways and engage your audience. Check out the Steam sale. It looks like there's a whole new. I didn't even think about that. I'm thinking about adding to my own library. You too can have your own play, beat, delete backlog with the Steam store. Ours are physical copies, of course, but you can have a backlog as well and a lighter pocketbook, but just not as light as it normally would be if you would have bought these games. So, great advice. That being said, Optimus, any plugs you want to give on the show as we wrap up this week?
Sure. You can always check me out on any social media platform. The name is Optimus Magnum, of course, everywhere you search. If you like 80s and 90s nostalgia, retro collecting, videos and stuff like that about basically retro nostalgia, check me out on any one of those social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm always talking on there. You can check out my YouTube channel and my Twitch when I do stream. I don't stream as often as I would like, but you can check me out on YouTube and you can check me out everywhere else.
I've got a sub renewal waiting on you to stream so I can pop it into your chat. And I've been waiting.
Yep,
I've saved that email knowing
Sorry.
it's there. I'm just waiting for you to go live so I can pop that in there. For me this week, let's see what. Man, check out my YouTube. Man, I'm just gonna here we go. I'm not no shame here. Completely shameless plug. Go subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't, please, folks. We got up over to that 515 mark. YouTube shorts are popping. Had another one go for like plus 690 last night overnight. Apparently, I'm big in Japan. 14, 15, 16% of my YouTube audience now in the last 28 days is from Japan. So I go big overnight in Japan. Please join the rest of the Americans, the 40% of Americans that watch, or if you're over in the UK, please watch, like, comment, subscribe. If you got a buddy that's got an account, come sub to JGotti. Trying to get to that 1,000. I want to burn through this second 500 a lot faster than the grind was for the first 500 if possible. That's my only plug, right? You guys know the website, joekaripersempere.com. Sure, it's out there in the chat. Just come to the YouTube. Come to the YouTube. That's my shameless plug. I should stop now because I feel like it's wearing on a little bit, but that's what I'm all about right now. I'm just all about the YouTube channel, putting the shorts up there and getting that going. Even though I was lazy this week and only put 3 shorts out. One pop, so that's good. I wonder if the producer's going to stop in, because would love it if he stopped in and plugged himself or told us a little bit about what he's doing or working on. Is he out there?
I'm not here.
Oh, he's not here. There he is. Yeah. He is here.
My space is so small, I have to rearrange my camera if I move too much.
Producer.
If you guys want to follow me, you can follow me anywhere at ___. I still have not been able to get the name without the underscores. I've been trying, and I can't. Otherwise...
So people don't raid the wrong person?
I guess. Oh, you were the one that did that, didn't you?
I did single underscore, not double. I rated Peterbite underscore once, not twice.
Well, I was trying to keep it easy for everyone so they can find me on all platforms, and unfortunately I had to do the 2 underscores. But other than that, you can catch me in the Good Game Report Discord, otherwise on Geek Corner on Mondays. Yeah, that's all for me.
Big thanks to this third head that just got added to the screen there. This guy's behind the scenes, so when you're watching the trailer this morning for Apex, when you're seeing the graphics come up on the screen, if you're seeing him trying to wrestle, whatever the heck goes on with my camera sometimes through OBS, this is guy wrestling all that stuff seamlessly in the background. And,
it was giving me a run for the money today.
Yeah, it definitely tested. It's missed you for a couple weeks, and it just wanted, OBS wanted to let you know that it's still champ, and it will twist your arm when it wants to, but looks like you were able to keep it at bay numerous times through the show today, so that's awesome. Pete, we appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much for making this easy for Optimus side to sit here to have a conversation with everybody about the gaming news.
Not a problem.
I think it's time to move on to a raid. We've got somebody pulled up.
Yeah, guys, stay on for this. This is going to be a good one.
Absolutely. Dale Duo. She's got the headset on with the cat ears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing Breath of the Wild. Definitely like to see playing Breath of the Wild. And it sounds like she's interacted with her chat as well. So
yep,
as we
stay on, guys.
I'm sorry.
Stay on, guys. That's what I was saying. Stay on and watch this raid.
This is no different than raid night. Like every stream we have in the Good Game Report channel, we want to raid somebody, right? Because it's all about community. We want to support other people. This is our opportunity to go out there as a community and show some love to somebody that may not know what our community is. So let's go in there. Let's pop some follows. Let's blow up the chat, send raids, all that good stuff. Thanks for being here. If you're here on the live show, if you're watching later in the week, we appreciate you. This is episode 9, and this is Optimus and Gotti signing out for this week. The producer's going to throw us over in the raid. Hope you guys have an awesome week.
Bye.
These guys.